We will call the meeting for February the 2nd to order. First item on the agenda, is there any requests for bill introductions? Okay, I see none. We are now going to start working on bills previously heard. We'll start with Senate Bill 14, which is our annual risk-based capital date change bill. Does anybody need an overview from Eileen on this bill? Okay. I assume Senator Olson is moving to pass this bill out favorably. Senator Pittman seconds. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same way. Motion carries. Senate Bill 14 is on its way to the floor. Senate Bill 15, removing the written requirement for demand for premiums. Anybody wish to have an overview of this? What's the pleasure of the committee?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we pass out favorably Senate Bill 15.
Is there a second? I'll second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Senate Bill 15 is on its way to the floor. Now let's look at Senate Bill 17. That is the bill relating to prepaid service plans. Anyone wish to have an overview on that? Okay. Is there a motion? Senator Fagg? I need you to actually make it.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move that we move out Senate Bill 17 favorably.
And Olson seconds. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Okay, Senate Bill 19. That is the premium taxes paid by group funded liability pools. Anybody like to have a discussion on that or an overview? Senator Olson?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we pass out Senate Bill 19 favorable.
Okay, is there a second? Dietrich seconds. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No? Motion carries. Okay, Senate Bill 25. That is the bill that we heard yesterday on surplus lines premium tax. No, day before yesterday. Okay. Anyone like an overview on this? Okay. Senator Pittman, do you have some discussion points?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. I passed out, or Eileen, thank you for passing out the proposed amendment on Senate Bill 25. It's a simple change where instead of having from 6% down to 3%, we take a more gradual approach and take it down to 4%. Presenter of the bill, one of the conferees was kind enough to give a overview of the states and the different surplus tax rates. And it is indeed somewhere in the 3 to 4 range if you were to take an average. Our partners in Missouri and Oklahoma do have higher ones at 5%, so that's something. I just think, given where we're at in the tax year, I'd rather not go a full half, cutting everything by 50%, so I put a 4% in here instead. So I'd like to propose that amendment.
Okay. For clarification, I did ask KIA to provide me with the average, and the average across the country is 3.59. So I'm ambivalent to the will of the committee. I think we're certainly uncompetitive at 6, but either 3 or 4 would be competitive. So, Senator Pittman, any other discussion on the amendment? Senator Warren?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Were there discussions with the proponents of the bill about the amendment? And if there were, what was the outcome of the discussions? Were they in support, neutral, opposed? What was discussed, if anything?
I can maybe answer that. I did have discussions with the proponents. They would certainly prefer 3, but 4, I think, might be acceptable.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Senator Olson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I mean, I prefer to go with the 3. I think we've got the revenue now to do it. And we've seen our revenue projections come in yesterday. So in my mind, I would rather go ahead and tackle this now instead of try to ratchet it down. I mean, I appreciate you trying to offer this amendment, but to me, I want to be more competitive in this, and we're just way out of competitive right now, and I think ratcheting it down 3 is the right maneuver for me anyway.
Okay.
Do we have a second on this?
Senator Dietrich?
Need a second, I'll second.
I do need a second at some
I'll second
point.
that. And may I also make a comment?
You may.
So in looking at the fiscal note, 18 million, I'm in agreement that we should ratchet this down a little bit less quick, and I'm comfortable with 4%. And every committee I'm in now, just about, is looking at ways to spend our surplus dollars. And I do believe the competitive piece is important, and we want to stay competitive, and I understand that completely. I would just like to make it a more reasonable percentage, and if we have to come back in 2 years and, reduce it another percent to bring it down to 3, I'm comfortable with that. I just think right now in this climate, even though we may have the dollars, we may not have the dollars at the end of this session as people keep chipping away at our surplus. So I think I'd like to support the 4%
Okay.
amendment. Thank you.
We have a motion and a second on the amendment. Any further discussion on the amendment? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor of the amendment, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Appears, yeah, I think we should. So, ayes. Those opposed? Motion carries. Amendment is adopted. Is there a motion on the bill as amended? Senator Fagg?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move that Senate Bill 25 move out favorably with the amendment proposed.
Senator Pittman seconds. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Senate Bill 25 is on its way to the floor. Senate Bill 26. That was specifying the certain requirements necessary to demonstrate fiscal soundness for HMOs. Senator Olson.
We made a motion on the amendment. Did we send the bill out already too? Okay.
Yes, we did.
Just wanna make sure.
Anyone like an overview on Senate Bill 26? Okay. What's the pleasure of the committee? Senator Fagg?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move that Senate Bill 26 move out of committee favorably.
Dietrich seconds. Any discussion? Okay. Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Senate Bill 26 is on its way to the floor. And our final one is Senate Bill 23, which is the Capers bill that we heard yesterday on removing the statutory limit on alternative investments. Anyone like an overview on that? Okay, what's the pleasure of the committee? Senator Fagg?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The 15% part, I've wrestled with this one, yesterday. So I sure like keeping it where the maybe moving the number up a little bit. The other thought that I had on this was that maybe if they went over the 15%, we give them 6 months to get back within realm. I've seen that work on different pledging requirements. That's because there is events out there that happen. So I don't have an amendment to that. I'm just telling you my thoughts on that.
Okay. I certainly understand those thoughts and concerns. The problem, as I see it, is alternative investments are more traditionally long-term investments. And so, when you're entering into private equity and you're moving into infrastructure, you don't normally abandon those positions on a timely manner. So extending a cap, statutory cap for 6 months or something like that could be problematic and could end up costing the fund more money eventually because they would have to then exit those positions. So we heard extensive testimony in our joint committee on pensions and investments over the interim on the need for this. And so I do think it's important to allow the board some flexibility. They have certainly indicated that they will establish not only a hard cap, but some temporary ability to move up and down. So, any other discussion on Senate Bill 23? Senator Pittman, I'm sorry. Okay.
I'd like to make the motion that we move Senate Bill 26 out favorably for passage as written. 23, I'm sorry. Same motion, but with Senate Bill 23.
And Dietrich seconds. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
No.
The ayes appear to have it. The ayes have it. Senate Bill 23 is on its way to the floor. You might note in your folders there is a new bill that we got, Senate Bill 119. If you want to review that, we'll try to schedule that for hearing sometime in the future. And we will not meet tomorrow. We will not meet on Monday. And as I described yesterday, we will have a full week on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So with that, I appreciate your work today. 7 bills in 15 minutes isn't too bad. So, all right. We're adjourned.